Hey folks, Elaine Marolakos Edelson, and we are talking about Jupiter and Gemini today. So just a little reminder that the planets don't do anything to us, that we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it, like you feel anything. We are influenced only by our choices. You know, you could be influenced by the weather, by what you ate yesterday, you're the one making the choice. So just keep that in mind when we look at astrology. Now, I'm going to show you the chart. There you go. So what we're looking at is on May 25th. I'm recording this today on the 23rd. I StreamYard to, I don't know why it says 3 minutes and 43 seconds, and I only just started this. Okay, so all new tech. I'm working that out. Holla, whatever. Anyway, so I StreamYard to Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. And so you might be watching this in a replay. And if you are, please remember to share, like, subscribe. Okay, so on May 25th at 4:14 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, adjust for your time zone, Jupiter, the planet that represents expansion, and some other things we're going to talk about, enters the constellation of Gemini. Now, what I like to do anytime a planet is about to enter into any constellation or move into station, what's called retrograde, I pay attention to the day before, the day of, and the day after, especially. Jupiter will be in Gemini for a year through June 9th, 2025, I believe. And during that time, what you will notice, if you're looking at your chart, let's just say this is your chart. Sorry, wrong way. Let's just say you're a Gemini sun with a Libra rising and a Capricorn moon. Then you would say, oh, look, Jupiter is now in Gemini in my 8th house. So wherever Jupiter lands in whatever house in your chart, you're going to experience particular awarenesses. Now, it's not because the planets are doing that. It's because you are ready to open to something, to hear something, to be a part of something in your consciousness and then in your environment. And just keep this in mind, that anything that happens in life, it happens because you're the magnet. You are the magnet for everything in your world. And people will argue with me. And I used to argue with myself over this and say, well, I'm a good person. Why would that happen to me? Or they would say, I'm a good person. I donate every Christmas and holiday, and I give regularly to the food bank. Why is this happening? Well, you output a frequency and a vibration. It's that simple. You are patterned at a certain time from birth on to see the world in a certain way. So when Gemini, which is guided by Mercury, also guides Virgo. But when Gemini is in the picture and in the house, we are looking at what's my perception of this thing. So you want to be able to look at where Jupiter is in your chart and entering into Gemini, and what it might represent as we go around the wheel. Now, if Jupiter, which represents expansion, overindulgence, publishing, higher thinking and learning, can be university, college, could be seminary, could be contracts, might deal with travel or foreign affairs or foreign matters. I'm just going to make this, I'll move over here. Okay. And so wherever Jupiter is, it represents expansion. Now, what are you expanding on? Are you eating chocolate chip cookies every day, all day, and that's it? Well, your waist is going to expand. Are you sitting in front of the television and just mumbling and grumbling at what people are doing or not doing? Well, your judgments will expand. Your inertia will expand. So wherever you are in the world, in your mind and body, that's what's going to expand. Now, it being touted as a very generous energy, very compassionate energy. We look at different cultures because Jupiter, though it's the biggest planet in our solar system, it represents it's like, used to be called like the king, really, of the heavenly bodies. And so anything that helps you to feel like you are expanding in a way that can be of benefit to others, other cultures, other people, family members, your students, your coworkers, whatever, your kids, then that's where you need to go. With Pluto in Aquarius now trining the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter starting the 25th, it's going to be like a jump start. People are going to feel like, oh, what just happened? Something just happened. And I feel motivated. Now, in the sign of Gemini, it's curiosity. It's a mutable energy, which means it can have the telephone, the TV, the computer, a notepad, and they're focused on everything. That's a Gemini energy. It just wants to be all over the place because they're here. What's happening there? What kind of information? It's an information dump. They're the ones with the, well, in the 50s or 60s or 80s, they'd be called the ones with the Rolodex. Now they are the ones with, they're the go-to energy. So if you are a Gemini sun rising or moon, or you have any planets in Gemini, you will feel an extra oomph of those matters, those subjects in your chart, in your life. And again, it's not because the planets are doing it to you. It's an indication of what you're about to embark on, what you've been manifesting, what you have been focused on. And sometimes the unconscious part comes out because, you know, you get a tap on the shoulder from your higher inner self and you say, I'm ready to go. Where am I going? Why am I going there? And because a Gemini energy can make a sudden right turn. I've known many Gemini energies, sun, rising, and moon, and they're steadfast, they're going, and then suddenly, boom, they're going that way. Yep, I want a divorce. Yep, I want a different career. Yep, I decided I don't want kids anymore. I mean, they're going to keep the ones they have, but they're going to get rid of their kids. But it's like and all the ruminations go on the inside. When there's no more curiosity, when they're not learning something, they feel like it's drudgery. It's like, why do I have all the control? Why do I have to? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. What was that? Gemini, sun, rising, moon? Anyone with Jupiter and Gemini in a position that helps you to realize that you have been maintaining or trying to maintain control over something or someone. It could be yourself. It's like, if I just stay the course, if I just get this going, I'll be okay. And then when you let go, no, I'm not going to change jobs. It's no more the days of the 9 to 5, 30 years at one place with the pension. That's falling away. So now when whatever sign makeup you are, sun, rising, and moon, you come to a place of saying, yeah, I really do want this thing. Well, are you acting on it, or are you just talking about it? Because the Gemini part is good with chatter, loves to like dump information in a text, about a topic, around the family table. Yeah, I was researching that month, but never acting on it. So now the motivation is going to be, oh, I think I can do this, right? Do you think I can do this? I think I could do this. And so whatever that passion is, there we go. Wait, I go there. Whatever the passion is, because I want to point this out. By the time we get to the 25th, Venus will also be in Gemini. Now, Venus represents finances, beauty, romance, yes, love, aesthetically pleasing things. Can be art, it can be sculpture, it can be food, it can be the feeling of protectiveness, defensiveness, but not overt. That's more Mars energy. But it's where do I want to put my money? How do I want my money to grow? What kind of raise am I going to get? And so when Venus moves into Gemini, on top of Jupiter in Gemini, you might be looking to bargain for that new car, for a different policy, and bringing up data and saying, well, the stats say I can get a better deal here. My husband just did that this morning. And he has a Mercury in Gemini. So he already thinks like this. So it's like saying, oh, I have to renew something. Hey, you know what? I was just wondering, with the so many options now in the world with AI, I'm just wondering, and I've been with you for a long time, can I get a deal on this? And he did. And that just floors me. It blows my mind that he can do that so easily. So this is something that you might be learning. Hey, Ashley's here. I'm a Taurus sun. Jupiter's in my 7th house in Taurus. So you just are coming out of a Jupiter and Taurus return, and now you're moving into the next level of it, really, because as we go around the wheel, Jupiter was or is, by the time you're seeing this on the 25th, Jupiter will be in Gemini, but it's in Taurus now. It's been there for a year. And then Jupiter takes about 12 months, give or take, depending on retrogrades, to spend in one constellation, one sign. So if you have a lineup, I spoke to a client the other day, Astrology Pro certification coaching client, and she has a lineup of Gemini and Cancer. And I said, wow, because you're going to go from one expansion to the next expansion, rapid fire. So as you look at your chart, hi, Ashley, Jupiter in your 2nd house in Pisces. So wherever Jupiter is transiting in your chart, and you want to look at, what are those topics? So let me just cover the topics of the houses right now. This is not like a formal thing. I'll just cover briefly. So the 1st house in astrology represents independent self, personality, body parts, and also childhood trauma. So if Jupiter is transiting 1st house, it's going to feel like it's about me. And it's me versus them, but I want it to be about me. And as it's about me, I'm going to heal some things. I'm going to think about some things. Remember, Mercury represents perceptions and beliefs before you open your mouth to communicate. It's not just about talking. It's about, what are the synapses? What are the patterns that were created when you were a child growing up? So as Jupiter goes through each of the houses, it's going to represent the part of you that is waking up to those topics. Okay. Because Jupiter's not doing anything to you. It's not conscious of its movements. Okay. So Jupiter in the 2nd house deals with finances, your income earnings, your self-worth, and what you value. So if Jupiter's transiting your 2nd house in Gemini, you're going to start to really be conscious of how you're spending. What are your habits? And when do you go to extremes? Because Gemini is an energy that goes to extremes. Mutable sign, air sign. Oh, what's over there? Oh, did you hear about the thing? And there just is like the chatter. But when it comes to feeling, they think about their feelings more. Instead of feeling their feelings, that's not a judgment. You see, Jupiter represents judgment. Gemini represents evaluation and judgment. So you're going to be evaluating if your if your Jupiter is traversing the 2nd house, you're going to be thinking about what you value, how you make your money, how you spend your money, how you're saving your money, and what you truly feel you are worth. If Jupiter is transiting the 3rd house, and that is a natural placement for Mercury in the general charts, in the 3rd house, we're all about perceptions and beliefs. We're all about teaching and learning, early education, siblings, relationship to siblings. So if Jupiter is transiting over your natal chart through the 3rd house in Gemini, it means you're going to start to think differently. You're going to want to think differently. You're going to start posing questions to yourself like, do I really believe that anymore? I don't know. Let me think about that. Let me think about if I feel how I feel about that. And you might take a training course. You might change your resume and use bullet points instead of 3 pages of, and then I did this and then I did that. So wherever Jupiter is, remember it's about expansion, but also wherever Gemini is transiting, we are looking at what is your perception of these things? How do you feel about these things? Jupiter transiting your 4th house, excuse me, in the general charts, 4th house is guided by Cancer and represents home, 4 walls, family. Also, your childhood and your maternal parent. And if you come from same-sex household, it is the one who you felt was more nurturing. And even if they weren't, even if they were nurturing in a passive-aggressive way, But it's the more motherly type energy. So the fourth house, four walls, Jupiter transiting the fourth house, you might be thinking, okay, that's it. I'm ready to redecorate. Yeah. Let's paint the house. Let's add on another room. Let's, fix it to sell. Now, because it's in Gemini, you may fix up your house and then suddenly realize, I like it so much, I want to keep it. That's how quickly the energy can flip from one side to the other. That's why you want to find harmony in the center. No matter where Jupiter is transiting, where it's moving around your natal chart for the next year, it's about expanding on how you perceive these topics. So how do you perceive your own self-worth, your own value, your own childhood? You're going to be exploring that. Now, Jupiter transiting through the fifth house tells me you're probably a Capricorn rising. Or Aquarius rising, depending on degree, and that this is all about romance, creativity, children, new projects, taking risks. What you really want to sink your teeth into as far as what juices you, what is so creatively inspiring, you just want to communicate that because of Gemini. Now, it can be with foreign shores. Maybe you're writing a book. Maybe you're a painter. Maybe you decided to take extra credit in a course that teaches children with a certain learning thing. Maybe they maybe they come from a different country and you're teaching them English, or vice versa, or you're learning a different language, or you go to a different country. Remember, Jupiter can also represent foreign matters, and that means foreign shores. And you might say, you know what, I want to become a teacher at an American school in France, or maybe it's, I can't decide about this lover that I have of mine. And how do I feel about this person? We need to talk a little bit more. I need to be aware of what are the patterns I see when I'm not speaking up. So if Jupiter is transiting your fifth house in Gemini, now I see Kate says, have Jupiter and Taurus in the fifth house. Then if you have Jupiter and Taurus, then your Gemini is probably in the sixth house, unless there's a degree change. So you see what I'm saying? It's not about where your natal Jupiter is. It's about where it's transiting. So Jupiter transiting in Gemini in the fifth house, this is about really exploring a different voice. Maybe you take singing lessons, origami classes. You want to get into Jackson Pollock paintings and just throw paint at the wall. Whatever it is, you're exploring something new, or the science behind color. I mean, we can get that granular when it comes to Jupiter and Gemini. It's like, I want to know the thing behind the thing. I am writing a series of books, One Soul's Epic Journey Through 12 Lifetimes. It's called Sign of the Time series, and I am on my third book in Gemini. And I'm about to finish. I'm 3 chapters away, and I'm so excited. My editor is waiting for it on June 1st. But I do a lot of research about how was color made in the 9th century. This is the Viking queen who ran Dublin for a while. And so I know this is about publishing. I'm going to be setting up an agenda and a calendar for publishing this year. All right, so let's say Jupiter is transiting your sixth house, and sixth house, Jupiter and Gemini, you have to be careful you don't burn the candle at both ends. You might think, oh yeah, I got this. I'm going to go running 4 miles in the morning. I'm going to have a protein breakfast, and then I'm going to go to work. I'll pick up the kids at noon because I'm only working half day today. And so then you're splitting your time and your energy. So just be careful of that if you have a transiting Jupiter in the sixth house. We're not talking about natal Jupiter, although I welcome. Natalie says Jupiter's in my seventh house, Libra. That's very cool. So now find out, where is Jupiter in Gemini transiting? So wherever you have Gemini, if you have, let's see, seventh house as Libra, then you would be possibly Aries rising, Aries Taurus, depending on the degree, Pisces, Aries rising, depending on degree. So your Jupiter in Gemini might be transiting second or third house, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Jupiter transiting in Gemini. If it's the 6th house, be so aware of how you are feeling and setting boundaries with coworkers, employees, employers. What's the productivity? What standards are you setting for yourself? And also about pets. Is there something funky going on with one of your pets? You want to just, it's like, well, the thing says feed them this much or give them this much medicine, but when I do, they vomit. Or so now you got to go with your gut and research what else can help, what else is possible. Jupiter transiting, and I don't have a general chart up here. I'm sorry about that. Because I thought I was just going to talk about this, but this is where we are. And hence Jupiter and Gemini. Hence, you could prepare for all you like for a week in advance. This is hysterical because this is exactly what Jupiter and Gemini looks like. You are preparing for one thing and suddenly you're on another track and you're going that way. Well, that's what we're just doing. So we just exemplified what this means. Okay, that's fun. Jupiter and Gemini transiting the 7th house. It's all about relationships. But like I said, if Jupiter was transiting your 1st house, you'd be like, oh, it's about me now. I want to expand. I just got divorced or I'm engaged or, the kids are out of the house and my spouse is good doing their thing. Now I want to do my thing. Jupiter transiting the 7th house in Gemini is more about, okay, it's been about you for a while. What do they need? Let's come together. Let's find a mutual agreement. Let's find a place to really communicate what's happening. And this can mean a spouse, a lover, a significant partner, can mean a client, a high-end client. It can mean your fan base. If you have a YouTube channel or you're, you have a group that you speak to once a month, and you've just been telling them about your experience, now you invite them in and say, all right, we're going to do something completely different. You're going to flip it. You're going to go to the other side. Honey, business partner, group, tell me about yourself. Tell me what's going on with you. And that gets the wheels turning for you so that you're able to help them better. So yeah, so it's exciting, isn't it? But when Jupiter's in the 7th house, wait a minute, isn't that a song? When the moon is in and Jupiter aligns with Mars. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fifth dimension. Okay. So now with Jupiter transiting the 7th house, the one thing extra you want to be aware of is who is your audience? Who do you want to serve? It's not everyone. It just isn't. So pick, if you have and this may be for a specific person or just a small group of people, but if you have a specific clientele and you can pick 1 or 2 people out of that group and go, those are my best people. Those are the ones who do the work. Those are the ones I love. Then model your next business, whatever, podcast, book, whatever you're doing, training course, after the behaviors of those people. You just list like, yeah, they do this, they do that. This is the kind of person they are, and that's your demographic. Okay, just thought I'd throw that in. 7 houses to go. Actually not. My husband says to me all the time, your math blows my mind. I'm in the 7th house. Moving on to 8. If Jupiter is transiting your 8th house, then you want to get really aware of where your money's going, what's going on with the spending. You might need to switch insurance companies. You might need to evaluate what's best for your long-term goal. Maybe it's an IRA. What's the data behind that? What do you have to do every 7 years? What if how much do you have to put in? What if you take money out to invest in real estate while you do that? What are the particulars behind all that? Looking for possibly new partnership with an attorney, significant spouse. This is the house. 8th house is the house of joint ventures and also your spousal income or health. This is also about estate planning. So this is long-term growth. If Jupiter is transiting here in your 8th house, you want to ask yourself, what am I doing for myself to help me grow? And then what am I doing for my money to help my money grow for the sake of my legacy? What legacy? And maybe you're not married and don't have kids. What is your legacy? What do you want to leave behind? And that can be, 50 years from now. So you want to keep up with trends, market trends, and start to get to know what, it's like putting your money in a CD in a bank. No, no, not anymore. Now you want to look at what's the best ROI, your return on investment. Is it going to be in science? Are you going to contribute money toward, because Jupiter and Gemini on their own equal the expansion of, or the diving into the data, and it can be scientific data. What are the stats on that? Can we pull up the oh wow, look at that. Yeah, people, there's an incline and an increase, and market rates are going up in this area. Let's invest there. So it's just gathering information and really understanding what's the algorithms. People will say to me, oh my gosh, I manifested this thing and it came to me and I was praying for it and I was meditating on it. And then, on my phone or on my computer, I got like a commercial, an ad, and that's exactly what I wanted. And I will say to people now, yes, that is manifesting, but it's also algorithms, because if you don't have, I don't have my phone with me, but if you don't have your settings set up properly in Google or on your phone for Instagram, TikTok, all that, you're being heard. You're being heard. You're being tracked, so that they can give you the next best thing that you're talking about. If you just held up your phone and you said, organic butter, organic butter, organic butter, and that's all you talked about, watch how the ads come in for organic butter. Now, if you're in a cave and you're not anywhere near technology and you are meditating and you are manifesting because you're in the quantum and you are bringing to you, the power you have of manifestation, and you are bringing something to you and it appears outside the cave, good on you. Good manifesting. Other than that, just check your settings in technology, because you're being tracked and then repurposed. So with Jupiter transiting the 8th house, you can actually increase finances by knowing how to invest better. And that's an investment of time, energy, and money, and then grouping with someone else. Remember, Jupiter, Gemini is a dual sign. So it is looking for a partner. It is looking for the opposite. It is looking for what's next. So you can bring that to you and create the bridge. Too often, most people are thinking, I have to go out there and get it done. But if you sat in your chair and you meditated on the ideal person, you wrote it down, you felt it in your body, you would meet them. You would create an energetic bridge, and they would come toward you instead of you having to go out and get it. Okay. Now, if Jupiter in Gemini is transiting your 9th house, get ready to travel, get ready to go over contracts. And if you are finding that you are being judged, or you are feeling invalidated, or you are feeling like you are judging, then the opposite will come to you to help you harmonize. So for example, let's say you bought something and you signed the warranty and then it broke, but they didn't honor it. And you're like, hey, in good faith, I paid you this much money. I've been calling you and you're avoiding me. So now do you take legal action or do you take inner spiritual action? I would do the latter first. Of course, set up the boundary. You make the phone calls, you send the proper emails, not emotional. On this date, I bought this item, and then I signed, I have the warranty. I submitted that within the time frame that the warranty and the guarantee was active and valid, and the thing broke and I've not heard from you. If I don't hear from you be specific, by 5 p.m. tomorrow and the date, I will then pursue legal action. So it's about boundaries. All right, that's for a segment of you. The other part of you, the collective you, are you learning a new language? Are you getting ready to travel? Do I sound like an ad? Then you're going to want to take this new neck pillow because you want to be comfortable. And that's true for so many of you who are moving and shaking. Jupiter and Gemini is like a quick stream of, hey, you want just for the weekend? We're going, oh, okay, great. Yeah, let's go. And so there's a lot of bopping around. You need to get grounded. Literally, if you've got Jupiter transiting your ninth house and you've got your checkbook along, what is it? Balanced, I'll say aligned. And you know what the contracts look like in your world. You are good with marketing. You have been taking a training course and now you feel adept enough to put it out into the world and teach it, or vice versa. You're teaching it and now you want to learn more. If all that is covered, it is time for you to meditate and bring the two halves of your hemisphere together: the body, mind, the heart, the head. The head puts out a frequency, an EMF frequency. It's scientifically proven. So does the heart. So you might be considering, Bruce Lipton or Joe Dispenza. And I want to get into the quantum and really understand that I am whole, but I'm the WHOLE in my mind. Oh, so yeah, I'm whole. I meditate. I do yoga. I, eat well. But yet the way you act is as if you believe yourself to be the HOLE that was left when leaving the WHOLE. When you left to be born, it's like, oh, now I'm separate. So some part of you has a gaping hole and you keep trying to fill it with buying more stuff or investing in more things or taking more classes, but never really sitting still long enough to be it. I have when my husband and I traveled last year, we actually went to Scotland and Ireland, which was supposed to be our honeymoon 28 years ago, but we couldn't do it. We had family, we didn't have money, all that. So we went to Scotland and there I am, or wherever I go, I like to buy a crystal. So in Edinburgh, and I walk by and I'm like, oh, crystal store. We go inside. My husband goes, look, it's Jupiter. And it is. So I'm looking at this as I'm talking to you going, yep, Jupiter in the ninth house. Jupiter in the ninth house, expanding through your consciousness and what you really believe. So before you just start chatting away, stop and think about what you're saying. Is it true? Moving on. Oh, and let me just check in real quick. Thanks for being here, everybody. Ashley. I love when people try to blame the planets. I know, right? Yeah. Oh, I can't. I remember my kid who is just turned 25, Aaliyah, and I would equate it to when they were little. I would make electrolyte popsicles for them because they loved popsicles, but never did juice or sugar or any of that stuff. So, or chemicals. So I went into the room and I was like, honey, Mama asked you to please take your clothes off the floor. Oh, and then there was a whole temper tantrum. I can't. I didn't have a popsicle today. So it's like, if you want to blame a planet or anybody else, just remember you are the magnet for everything in your world. It's all about you, babe. Okay, now. Natalie says, Jupiter is transiting my fourth. Yes, I want to move. Okay, then focus on where you want to go and see it coming to you. All the doors are open to the highest and best for wherever Jupiter is in your world. Okay, so we're moving on to the ninth. Did we just do the ninth? Oh, that was the ninth. I'll just wrap up one more on the ninth. And that is, if this is about a learning or teaching program, make sure you are in compliance, legal compliance, because that's also going to be very important, so that you are true to your word. Or if you're teaching a class and you're very detailed about it, make sure you are actually teaching what you say you're going to teach. And that's part of marketing. Okay, Jupiter transiting the 10th house. This is where someone once called me up a long time ago and wanted a reading and said, well, Jupiter's transiting my 10th house. How come I didn't get another job? And I just laughed. I laughed and I said, well, Have you been applying? Mm. Okay. So that's my point. It's like you are bringing it to you. So with Jupiter and Gemini, this is where you start meeting people. Get out there, market yourself, promote yourself. I just keep seeing political people or people at a hotel having some kind of an event. So go to workshops, sign up for things, whatever kind of thing you're into, go to these places. And it can be like the all women's business, NABO. And you go there and you start networking and you meet people, or maybe it's the, around here, it's the gem and mineral clubs, right? Or so and you're like, oh, and you travel to where? Oh my gosh, I wanted to go there. Travel and interests. So put yourself out there, because you're going to create that bridge and bring a joy to you that will help you expand in your career. Now, but you must be true to your word. If you are running for any kind of office or doing any kind of office, even in a corporate environment, and you want that promotion, you want the VP seat or the president's seat, you must be honest and speak in a way that other people are not, numbed to. You turn on the news, everyone's got the same tone of voice. In tonight's news, and over in Beirut, it's like, it's the drone and how they're taught to speak, and it's almost laughable. So whatever you're doing, excuse me, you want to clear your throat first. Right now I am exemplifying Jupiter and Gemini, because if you don't have the confidence, you're going to sound like a 14-year-old boy, like I just did. Sorry about that. But anyway, the expansion is about it's about knowing where you want to go with your passion in hand and saying, I have been wanting to meet you for years. I've seen all your videos, I've read all your books, and I have a question for you. And then come from your heart. Where did you get started? What advice would you give someone who's just getting into this business? So if you're the newbie, you want to be that honest and be truthful. If you're the person who's already at the top and you want to train some people, you want to be just as honest. Oh, when I was starting out, man, I fell on my face 47,000 times a day. So honesty is really going to be the key if your Jupiter is transiting your 10th house. I mean, honesty is always the key, but especially now, 10th house. Because you want to be seen. This is a visible public position. Even if you're retired and you're volunteering, they're going to call you up and say, you have business acumen. Can you please come and help us in this, blah, blah. And you're going to say, okay. And then you start thinking about, well, what do I want to teach him? Do I want to teach him that I sat at a desk for 40 years and hated my job? No. I want to teach them something that they're not teaching them in high school. I want to teach them how to invest at an early age. Take $100 from every paycheck, if you can, $50, $25, and put it in an account that will start to grow. And then keep adding that same amount plus. And by a certain age, there's a calculator that does that. You'll be a millionaire. Who teaches that in high school? Who? Okay. That's my little rant. Okay, we're moving on. So Jupiter transiting 10th house, you're about to go public. Now, Jupiter transiting the 11th house. Oh, what to do with those people in my life I called friend? Are they resonating the same frequency as you anymore? Is there an elder in the group that you can learn from? Or if you're the elder, do you want to be, what's that phrase? Do you want to be a big fish in a little pond? Or do you want to be a little fish in the ocean? Because there's room for growth. It may be scary, but it's like if all you do is find people that you teach or that you know more than, or that you're always helping, then you're not allowing it to come back. If you are someone who is always looking at your friend groups or associates, business associates, project people, it's like you keep attracting the same kind of people. Now you want to do the opposite so that you can harmonize and balance the center. And that means attracting people of a different culture, people who have a different religious background. I don't know why that just came through, because that's typically the 9th house, where, religion is, this is the rule, or these are the set of rules, and this is what we follow. And if you want to be part of the club, you got to do these things. If that is you, and it's not you any longer, was you, and it's not you any longer. Now it's about, I don't want to be Catholic anymore. I don't believe that anymore. Or I just learned something on my trip to Egypt or Pakistan or South America, and now I have a different concept of what it's like to be an American. Like I used to complain, someone said to me, I used to complain about stuff, and then I traveled abroad, and then I shut my mouth and thought, oh my gosh, I am so grateful that I can have different kinds of water, and not have to bleach it and drink it so that I don't get parasites. So these are the things you're going to encounter, not to that degree, right? But you will encounter a new group, or if you are in a group and you go, oh my gosh, I've been wanting this art painting group, just to paint only oils. And I just found this group, and it was at the library, and I'm so excited, but you're not feeling it. You're learning, and the people are nice, and it's all milk toast. And you go home and you go, yeah, that's not it. I thought I manifested it. Surprise. It's about recalibrating, fine-tuning with Jupiter and Gemini, and what you will be attracting, and also looking at your family, children in your family, elders in your family, people who are like in your family who live on the Isle of Misfit Toys, and that might be you, and go, you know what, let me just get to know them again. And have they changed? And if they haven't, you hug, you kiss, you say, great to talk. And then you go your separate way. But you want to revisit things. It's almost like a retrograde. Jupiter in the 11th house in Gemini. You want to revisit something or people or your ideas about community and how you want to be part of it. And then we wind up with Jupiter in the 12th house in Gemini. Counseling is necessary, some kind of counseling. I don't mean talking about the same thing for 6 months in therapy. No. Vibrationally speaking, when you output a frequency consistently over time, and I don't mean just like for a week because you hurt your toe and you're having a gripe. I'm talking about, and then that happened, and then that happened, and then that happened. 10 years go by, and then that happened, and then that, and it's the same story, but different people, different locations. The sets have changed, but the scene is the same. You want to stop and think, oh my gosh, what do I keep telling myself is true and it's not true, but I keep recreating it, because whatever cells you create, your neurons, this is neuroscience, folks, whatever cells you create, your neurons will go, oh, let's output that frequency. And that frequency is what brings to you your next thing. Even if it's nothing, you're still feeling the same way. You're like, why? Well, how about, I used to say to people, what's the worst that can happen? And then they would find that thing, and I would keep going. I would take them all the way off planet. They're living in a box. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, then I asked so-and-so for help. Oh, well, they shut the door in your face. What's the worst that can happen? Then I asked for legal aid. And what's the worst that can happen? Well, they don't give me the money. Right. And then you're living on a box in a street. What's the worst that can happen? I'm begging and nobody's giving. Right. And then what happens? And I keep going until they have died. No such thing, really, although it is sad when we lose someone. I'm not downplaying that or minimizing anyone, but for the purpose of understanding consciousness, and then you are no longer in your body. What happens next? This is where most people go, I don't know. And I go, that's where you want to start. Save yourself 6 months of therapy and start with, I don't know what I believe. Because I thought this, but now it's that. I thought I could have this great relationship, one person said to me, because I met them and we only ever talked on the phone. And I called him my boyfriend, and we did that for 5 years. And I said, and did you ever meet this person? No. Okay, so in your mind, this is a boyfriend. And then they thought, I don't, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know is the beginning of everything. Be willing to go there. I don't know is I don't know who I am. I don't know what I believe. I don't know how I feel. I don't know what I think. How would you like to feel? Oh, I'd like to feel happier. I'd like to feel connected. I'd like to feel. So explore that. Now, if you go into therapy, do something different. Not just, if you need to get clear on a topic, you go to therapy and you go, this is what's happening. And they say, sounds like this is what's really happening. And you go, oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But then we don't want to keep talking about it for 6 months, because unless you are applying something different and you're given tools, yes, and then you apply those tools, you have made a change. But if you're not, and you're just there to chat, because Jupiter and Gemini can be a whole lot, and this happened and that happened and this happened. And can you believe that? Oh, by the way, I saw this thing on TV and it was just blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, what has changed? Nothing. You want to be careful of the over chatter, and you get into the psyche and ask yourself, who am I really? What do I think? What do I feel? What do I believe? And does it limit me? I would say this is probably the biggest transformation for anyone in the 12th house. Yes, but with Jupiter and Gemini, with Pluto there or Uranus there, whether it's natally, you have some big mind blowing experiences. And then you go, I just need a cup of tea and look out the window. And remember, there's little things in the world that can make you happy, like my little coos from Scotland. Yeah. Does that make sense? Let me check in. Hello. Hi, who's here? My Jupiter is already in Gemini in the 7th house. Then, honey, it is about partnership and finding the harmony between the two. What you have expected, what you have gotten, and now what you're about to experience, because you change your mind. Nothing changes in the world, in your world, unless you are changing in here. That's how energy works. I hope this has been helpful. That was like speed dating. That's also like Jupiter and Gemini. Okay, you have 1 minute. Hi, this is what I like. This is all about me. This is all about you. Ding. Okay, next person. Hi. This is just keep talking about it. So I would say overall, and let me just get rid of that. Overall, with Jupiter and Gemini, I would say now is the time to get very clear on what you don't know, so that you can start to reformulate what you would like to know, how you would like it to be. Not complaining about it, like, oh, I wish it were. No, it's more like, oh gosh, you know what? I think it's possible. Look what I have already done up until this point. Anything's possible from now forward. Anything is possible. So if that's the case, what would I like? What would I like? How do I want a partnership to be? How do I want my health to be? How do I want my career, my work, my retired life to be? How do I want to relate to my family, my friends, my kids? How do I want to try something new? And then go do that thing. And you figure it out along the way. And it's very expansive. And by June 9th, I think it's the 9th, 2025, you will have figured it out. And you will have said, oh my gosh, here's the biggest key yet. Look back 12 years within 12 months. Look back 12 years within 12 months. What happened? Because that's the last time Jupiter was in Gemini. And if you expanded 12 years ago, I went bestseller on Amazon. Now I'm about to publish. And that was because of marketing, not because the book was that great. And then I took the book down and I edited 30% of it and then tied it into the rest of the series. So I changed something. I had a bigger vision of something. And now that vision has helped me to become a better writer. So if you read that book 11, 12 years ago, you would go, it was okay. And I would agree with you. But at least I got it out there. I wanted to know the process. That was my goal. I wanted to say, yes, I've been published. That was my goal. It wasn't the greatest read, but it wasn't horrible. But now it's so much better. And now, because of that, the second book and the third book are that much better. So everything's a progression. Look at what you did 11, 12 years ago, or moving into the 6th month of the 13th year. So in that time frame, what happened? Who were you? What were you doing, and why? And then you will have big clues about the next 12 months. And it's going to be exciting. We're going to come back to this in the future. Next week, please come back. Tell your friends. We're on the 30th. I'm doing my oracle reading. So come back and choose your oracle and give yourself a reading. Why not? Okay, folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for being. As always, I wish you peace and much love from my heart to yours.